Next on Worcester News tonight, a cab driver attacked in his own vehicle. Tonight, he's sharing his story on the scary encounter. Plus, dozens of students participating in a national walkout in Worcester in an effort to help prevent gun violence in schools. Good evening, everyone. I'm Olivia Lemon. Tonight, a Worcester cab driver is sharing a terrifying experience he had on the job. Earlier this week, a passenger pulled a knife on him and attacked him in the driver's seat. That passenger was arrested and faced a judge today. Our Chandler Walsh spoke with the victim and joins us live now with his story. Chandler?
Olivia, Harvinder Dillon's been a cab driver for 18 years. He says a lot of the time he knows who he's picking up, but says it can be nerve-wracking when he doesn't. He says he didn't know the man he picked up on Monday when he was stabbed.
Faded bloodstains and bad memories. Harvinder Dillon recounts the moment he was stabbed by a passenger.
He stabbed me. He said, give me money, give me money.
The veteran cab driver says he was driving a masked passenger who asked for change for $100. After saying he didn't have it, Dillon says he was stabbed in the neck.
I saw that he had a knife. That time my body is hot. I know feeling for going bleeding, you know. And then my blood is going all over.
Dillon says he jumped out of the cab and the passenger got into the driver's seat and tried to take off, but didn't get very far.
I thank for God, you know, I still alive. Otherwise, that day I die, you know.
Police arrested Robert Rutledge in the attack, as well as another alleged assault in December. He was arraigned Friday for multiple charges related to the crimes.
He was arrested. He's charged with armed assault for murder, armed and masked robbery, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, armed carjacking.
Dillon was stabbed 3 times. He says a 2.5-inch hole in his neck required surgery. The cab driver admits he's nervous about returning to work, but says it's something he has to do.
My wife says, you don't know how to drive taxi. I said, what I do? I don't have any other job.
Rutledge is being held without bail and will be back in court for a dangerousness hearing. As for Dillon, he's still recovering and says he could be back to driving cabs as early as next week. Olivia?
So scary, Chandler. Thank you. Students across the country walking out of class Friday to protest what organizers say is lawmakers' lack of action on gun violence. The national walkout happening on the 19th anniversary of the Columbine school shooting in Colorado. It was the worst school shooting in U.S. history at the time, but in less than 2 decades, Columbine has been eclipsed by a number of even deadlier attacks. In Worcester, Bancroft Upper School participating in today's national walkout. Students there say they wanted to take an active approach and make sure their voices are heard.
Dozens of students and faculty walk out of class at the Bancroft School. Students want to spark a conversation about preventing gun violence in schools.
We just want to see community engagement and see that students care about what's happening across the country.
Friday's National Walkout Day coincides with the 19th anniversary of the Columbine school shooting, where 13 people were killed. Junior Tyler Papula helped organize Bancroft's walkout. He says they chose to go to the gymnasium for students to have opportunities to do things like register to vote and send letters about gun violence to legislatures.
We wanted to do something, but we thought activism would be more effective.
Head of Upper School Lisa Baker says students have been working on this for weeks, and she's happy to see they're taking action.
It means the world to me that they're trying this, and I think all of us need to remember to support them in their thoughtful approach to this.
Baker says students will not face any punishment for leaving class today, and it's their choice if they want to participate.
They have to take responsibility for communicating with their teachers. They have to take responsibility for their work. It's their responsibility. It's not my responsibility to judge what they do.
Meanwhile, students like Papula say the administration's support has made it easier to communicate their message.
We couldn't have done it without their help.
And students were coming and going throughout the day today, getting a chance to register to vote and send letters to legislatures. State funding for bus services is a growing issue for the Worcester Regional Transit Authority and other public transportation, but one city councilor is looking at the possibility of bringing trolleys back to Worcester. These pictures from the Worcester Historical Museum show trolleys from the early 1900s. District 1 Councilor Sean Rose is asking the city to explore the option of a vintage trolley or streetcar system in partnership with the WRTA. Rose says the transportation would focus mainly on connecting colleges and neighborhoods to downtown. Tonight, a federal lawsuit filed by neighbors of a medical marijuana dispensary in Cambridge could derail plans for the whole state. Cassie Arsenault has details on how the law meant to target organized crime could pose problems for marijuana regulation.
The Crimson Galleria is located next door to Healthy Farms. Its owner, Raj Danda, who claims the pot shop is driving down his property values, argues that Healthy Farms is involved in illegal marijuana crimes under federal law. It's the first time a racketeering statute has been used in a marijuana-related case in the Bay State. And if a judge agrees with Danda's argument, it could change the way pot is sold in Massachusetts.
I think it's really a misuse of the statute to apply it here. They're alleging that the dispensary in Cambridge has damaged property values, surrounding property values, to the tune of $27.1 million. And, you know, if you look at Harvard Square property values, that just on its face seems pretty implausible.
The bottom line is that our client owns some pretty significant holdings, real property holdings in Cambridge, and he desires to protect the value of his properties.
Healthy Farms just opened up here back in December. They since closed down in February because there was pesticides found on their product. In Cambridge, Cassie Arsenault, Worcester News Tonight.
A massive glitch for the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Officials say it caused them to tell thousands of drivers their licenses are suspended. More than 9,700 RMV customers received letters saying their licenses would be suspended for not paying outstanding fees. The registry blaming this on a technical glitch in the new software system. They identified the error on April 12th, and within 24 hours, the RMV sent out correction letters. Still, for some, it caused a lot of unnecessary worry.
My wife's pregnant, due in July. We have a lot of new costs that we're starting to have, strollers and things like that. So to get a letter from saying we might owe $1,200, it is pretty upsetting.
The registry apologizing to its customers this morning, saying in part the RMV immediately corrected this issue on the same business day to notify impacted customers that no licenses had been suspended. After months of work, seniors at Worcester Polytechnic Institute presented their final projects Friday. The professional level design and research experience mirrors the field of work students will take on in their careers. Our Cam Jandro joins us live now with the story. Cam?
Olivia, we're not talking about poster boards, video presentations, or anything like that. These kids are creating robots and software that we very well could be using in the near future.
A robot drives across Worcester Polytechnic Institute, controlled by the video game remote from an Xbox. It's meant to respond to alerts on unmanned missile launch facilities for the Air Force Research Laboratory.
When you go into that type of situation, you don't know what you could face. So having the robot on the base, being able to visually see what's going on, what should be the next course of action, that really saves a lot of time.
Seniors Marissa Bennett, Kenneth Quartuccio, and Jeffrey Tolbert created Serbi. The group's final project at WPI is also an entry in this year's AFRL Student Challenge.
And they approved it because they thought, hey, like our proposal was decent and, you know, we can actually do it. And then we built it this year, and now it's project presentation day.
This was the one that jumped out at us because it was really hands-on. And the actual design process began in early October, and it's gone till next week.
Serbi was just one of numerous projects shown off Friday. Across campus, Tim Reuter and his group presented a security system for cars. The software would be able to detect forms of hacking in a vehicle's computer system.
There's not a lot of motivation to hack somebody else's car on an individual scale, but there's a lot of motivation for stealing data and making sure, like, making big data models about people's travel habits and people's car habits and stuff like that.
The projects took almost a year to complete. The seniors say these projects are a big part of their undergraduate careers at WPI, but also present future opportunities.
It's a nice close to my bachelor's degree.
It's going to be weird, you know, not having to go to bed at 4 in the morning.
It feels great to be done. I'm super happy with the way the project turned out, and I think that there's a lot of good material that can be moved into further projects.
Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
Now, the group will present Serby in front of the Air Force Research Laboratory next week. They hope the next group of seniors next year helps continue the work.